Hey, my friends. Welcome to Pastors of Pain. This is a weekly podcast and radio show. We're giggling. We're giggling.
Do you remember that time we started our Pastors of Pain show and then we just stared at each other for about 3 seconds?
This is so good. Why we have Jay here in the studio who helps us to record. I know that many podcasts out there are just sort of put together by the people who do them, but Father Kerry and I are totally incapable of such things.
I think at one point in time we said inept. We just had
when we talked about doing this, we were like, "Oh man, we can't." If it relies on us to like set up the equipment, this is not going to work.
Pass.
And then we got into this wonderful partnership with Jay and his team here at Pete 94.3, and here we are. Love it. Jay, shout out to Jay, who, as he listens to this, is on a beach in Cancun.
Relaxing.
Thank you, Jay. Enjoy. Just know that we're working our butts off in Payne County to evangelize for the Lord.
And you're just enjoying his creation down there.
That's good, though. Rest is important. It is.
It is.
Leisure.
Leisure is the basis of culture.
It's the basis of culture, says Joseph Pieper.
I know. Have you ever read that? Have you ever read that book?
I have.
It is it's a rather intense.
I read Pieper. Joseph Pieper was actually introduced to me. It wasn't that book.
Like the guy? Like he was alive?
No. But I was it was my freshman year at Boston College in a theology class.
Someone handed you Joseph Pieper?
John Turner was my professor.
Okay.
He was an Australian. And he put some books in front of us that at the time I was like, all right, whatever. I'm a college freshman. I'm required to read these things and I will read them.
And it was... And
looking back, I don't have that like syllabus or anything, but like it was good stuff. Holy cow. I'm so glad I read it at 18, 19, and now
I don't know if I would get 18. It at 18 or 19. If someone handed me Joseph Pieper...
No, and that's the thing. I mean, there's so many... We had to read... I mean, at Boston College, we were reading the documents of Vatican II, and I don't know that I could even articulate like what Vatican II was. Like,
right.
I didn't even know the context of what I was reading. Like, what's a church document? I was very, those were more innocent times.
Yes. And now, do you know what a document of Vatican II is?
I do. Seminary helped a great deal, and then I try to read a lot.
Right.
On my own.
Really?
Now.
Were you reading like 400 or 500 pages a week?
Mostly listening in the car. I'm always listening to a book.
Really?
In the car, yeah. I just listened to a book about China.
Whoa.
That was kind of interesting. And then I was listening to the book Good to Great, which is it's like a business book, but about like why some organizations, thrive and others don't.
I
listened to that years ago, and it was so dang helpful in my life at Bishop Kelly High School. I decided to revisit it for my life at the parish.
And you've been listening to it as
I drive.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I read. I just don't, there's not a lot of time, and I don't really have a great attention span to sit down and read a ton of books. But I'm going on retreat in 2 weeks. What?
Are you taking Leisure as the basis of culture with you?
I might.
It's
I don't
really
know that
good.
I own it. I think I had it and gave it to somebody. Anyway,
it's a pretty fantastic book.
What's going on with you?
Just building a church and trying to raise money.
Yeah?
Yep.
Are you building? How's the building going? Is it done yet?
It is not done yet. It is not done yet. It's we're in the money raising. We're just over.
How much more money do you need, approximately?
We're at about $17 million right now. We need 20 to build this thing.
Send Father Kerry some money.
Someone's got $3 million out
or
there,
less, or
$3,
or $1.87.
Actually, I brought this for Jay to give to him. Jay, this is our business card, and
Jay, it even has a QR code.
It's got a QR code on the back of it.
That's how fancy it is.
And this is what
That's good quality.
I know. I have this graphic designer, Julia Rush. And she does those things.
You spelled Catholic wrong.
I did not. Don't say that. Don't say that. So we're out just running across the state and around the nation. we had an event at St. Francis Xavier. That was on the 28th. Matt Bond and Lauren Lacey put that together.
Good times.
And we had a good amount of food, and people showed up, and just got to tell people what our mission is and how we're continuing the mission of St. John Catholic Student Center that has been there since The 40s I've heard.
So we did, when we were doing I think it was the show where we were talking about your building project, we used the phrase, I don't know if it was that show or it was a different show. We were talking about kind of like nostalgia, like is a wonderful thing, sort of looking back at the past. But it also, I think, especially in churches, has the ability to like
freeze us.
Yes. Like, can't we just leave it like it is? And the world is a very different place. OSU is a different place. The church is a different place. The needs of the people are in a different place. And so we're trying to adjust. And that comes with some headaches, and that comes, a lot of effort to try to, build something new. But then also, it's legit. So I think that would be a good show. Again, I just keep a list of interesting topics that we're going to do a show on at some point, and that would be one of them, of like how looking back is good and how looking back is bad.
Whoa.
That's all I wanted to say.
Okay, cool. So pray for us on this building project.
We should do a show about my list of shows that we want to do. I have like 30 topics.
Really?
Yeah.
Why don't you send them to me and I'll file them away in the shredder file.
I send them to you. I send you like one at a time of like, what do you think this would be? Like, I want to do a show on like, is your faith based on emotions?
And the answer is no. But for many people it is.
A lot of people it is, Yeah.
Just raise your hands like you just don't care. Shaking hips, singing lips.
But if I'm not feeling it, then God has somehow abandoned me. He would never abandon you. He is with you always until the end of the age.
If I forget you, let my right hand wither.
Yes, exactly. So there. Okay, I have a question for you, Father Carey. This will get into our topic for the day.
Okay.
For what, I would like a list from you, right off the top of your head. He doesn't even know this question is coming.
I don't.
For what are you grateful?
I am grateful.
It's not Thanksgiving yet, when people sort of mandatorily have to name things that they're grateful for. It's October. What are you grateful for?
I am grateful and thankful for my Christian baptism.
Wow.
Original sin, bam, gone. Yeah. Child of God, hello. Yeah, that's probably the number one thing I'm grateful for, because I would say
most people don't really think about their baptism.
Mine's April 18th, 1976. I remember the day. I was a small little child in a big church.
What church? St. Pius?
So St. Thomas More. And somebody poured water on me and said the words, we baptize you. No, I'm just kidding.
It must have been, no, better not. Was it, it was probably in the Easter season?
It was at the end of the Easter season. It was April 18th.
What day of the week was April 18th, 1976?
No.
It was Sunday.
I was baptized on a Sunday?
April 18th, 1976 was a Sunday.
Fantastic.
I'm looking at mine. What day of the week was December 21st, 1975?
It was Sunday.
Yay!
We were baptized on Sunday, and there was much rejoicing.
Way to go, Mom and Dad. Way to go. Okay, what else? What else are you grateful for?
So I'm also grateful for the generosity of people.
Really?
As traveling
Says the
around,
man who's raised $17 million.
Well, the good God has raised $17 million. But I had to buy a new truck because
he didn't drive the truck.
Yeah. I said, Jesus, take the wheel, and I sat in the passenger seat and did some work, and he just kept it going. It's really been the
now
people of God.
In my head,
the people of God are so generous. From people who donate $67, as a buddy of mine did. He wrote me a check for $67 and said, "Here."
Why 67?
That's what his normal tithe is to, like, of his percentage that he gives out to different places.
Lovely.
He gave me $67 and he said, "Buy me some bricks for that church." And I said, "Okay, they're $20." And he said, "Buy me some 3 1/3." And I was like, "Fantastic." And then people who have donated millions of dollars.
Yeah.
I mean, I told you the story about like how 2 people donated $5 million to this building project in 23 and a half hours.
Damn.
And we weren't even like, that was not even on the plans. Yeah. And I was like, I guess we're building a building. And Denny Scheller said, I guess you're building a building. So the generosity of people with their hard-earned money.
Also think, I know you talk about frequently like your building committee.
Who
I'm sure have like donated or are going to donate, and who are good people financially. But like, if you had all the money you needed, but didn't have people to help, design the building and work through all of the intricacies of, So that's another aspect of like the way people give. You know, it's not all money. We we kind of talk about it sometimes. Like it's all.
I'm thankful for my staff. I have a really excellent staff, and they are organized and they do the things that they do really well. And I can hand them tasks that I can't get done, and they can get them done, so I can go do the things that, as I found out, only I can do.
To the priest, yeah. I mean, they're
essential
in the
to the
Catholic
mission.
world. Like, there's one person on your staff who can celebrate Mass and hear confessions.
Yes,
it is you.
And I found out there's only one person that people want to see when they come to their house to ask them for money.
Oh,
they want to see their priest.
Yeah.
So,
I got you.
Yeah. So there's a lot of stuff.
What are those kind of essential tasks? But the staff allows you
like
to,
that card I just gave Jay so him and his family could buy some bricks to build a new church. That's a graphic designer.
Why is Carrie spelled Carrie?
It is not. Golly, you're so mean. I'm leaving and taking all my toys.
Why does it say Mrs. Carrie Wakulich?
Oh, you're so cruel.
Oh, dear. What else are you grateful for?
I am grateful that I have a bishop-induced penance living in my home with me.
Come on.
That's you.
Our house is big enough. We all have our own space. Yeah. In fact, the other day, it was a Monday. This is what I'm grateful for. Mondays are our day of rest. And I woke up and I did not interact with another human being until 12:30 p.m.
What?
Isn't that wild? You were gone. You were out and about.
Goose hunting, yeah.
Father Robert was out and about doing stuff. And so I was home by myself. And I just kind of putzed around the house a little bit, had breakfast, and did a little laundry. And
went into everybody's room and moved stuff around?
Yep. I went in, short-sheeted your bed, used your towels. And then, anyway, it was just like, it was awesome. I love people, but like there's some days when not having no people around is like a beautiful thing. Okay.
Well, congratulations.
So anyway, I asked you about gratitude.
Why?
So we're at St. Francis Xavier. We're in the middle of our annual stewardship renewal. Mm-hmm. So we take a couple weeks out of the year and really just pound it into people like how good God is.
With a loving hammer.
With a loving hammer. Yeah. It's a benevolent dictatorship coming down upon the people. But the idea of stewardship, and we did a show on this last year, kind of right around this time, because same deal. We were in the middle of our stewardship renewal. But it's the phrase I like to use is that we want everybody to live a stewardship way of life. So, right, centered on Christ, that we are first and foremost disciples of Christ, and out of all that the Lord has done for us, we respond in gratitude. And then we've divided that up. We have kind of three ways in which that happens. And we call those time, talent, and treasure. Right? And you got to have all three. It's not just, I give money and therefore I'm totally off the hook, you know?
Time, talent,
treasure. And so time, the way we divide it up, and this will all be in my homily this weekend. Time is really your prayer life. And that's number one. Before the talents God has given you, before any treasure gets given away, are you spending time with the Lord? Are you spending time with the one who made you? Are you talking to him? Are you allowing him to respond back to you? So number one, time. How much time do I spend? So the challenge to our people, and you don't have this kind of formal sort of stewardship renewal process, but all this jives with every single student at OSU. How much time do you spend with the Lord? How much time are you in prayer? And doing that not as like oh gosh, I have to, it's time to pray.
I got to do this.
I can do this so I can check that box, but as a generous response. So that beautiful, it's Psalm 116. How can I repay the Lord for his goodness to me? Now, as priests, the next line of that is, how can I repay the Lord for his goodness to me? The cup of salvation I will raise. I will call on the Lord's name. Mm-hmm. But to the people, how can I repay the Lord for his goodness to me? And the short answer is, you can't. There is no amount of time, talent, or treasure that you or I or anybody listening can give back to the Lord for all that he's done for us. So it's not I got to get even.
Yeah, how do you get even? You die upon the cross through a severe passion.
Right.
Okay.
So we're never going to get even. So it's not a matter of, I got to give another $50 so I can get the Lord off my back, It's not that. The idea is a generous response to the Lord being the center of your life and the Lord saving you and the Lord continuing to walk by your side every day.
What's that beautiful scene of the woman in the temple where Jesus is sitting there and watching people put money into the temple tax, and sees this woman come up, and there she is, and she puts a small amount of money in.
Yeah.
And Jesus responds, what? That this woman, from her poverty.
Yes.
It's not she had this abundance like everybody else did. It's from her poverty that she entrusted to the Lord. Or in the
Mark chapter 12, Luke 21.
The woman with Elijah, when Elijah shows up and says to this woman, "Hey, give me some of your food to eat." And she says, "Well, Elijah, don't you know there's a famine going on? And my son and I have just enough flour and water and oil to make 2 raisin cakes, and then we are going to die." And Elijah says, "Make me a cake. I promise you, your flour will not run dry." And what happens? Boom! Until the famine ends, this woman has everything she needs. Yeah, it is really beautiful to bring those treasures to the Lord and say, "This is what I have to give you out of the depths of my of my riches that you have generously given to me. Now I give back to you."
Yeah. So that's the stewardship way of life, that we're not stingy with what the Lord has given us. So time, talent, treasure. Time is your prayer life. How much, so what we ask people to do is to literally make commitments to what is my prayer life going to look like in the year ahead? Okay. I'm going to pray the rosary daily. I'm going to go to daily mass once a week. And that helps. That's both, it's a psychological thing too. When you put down on paper, I am going to, the likelihood that you're going to do it, skyrockets because you put it on paper. You've made a commitment. You've given that. we're asking people to turn them in. Now, if somebody says I'm going to go to mass, daily mass once a week, and then they don't, I'm not.
You're not going to stand at the door.
I'm not knocking at their door. We're not taking attendance. It's between you and the Lord, your family and God, but to make those specific commitments. So anyway, so time is prayer, and then talent is a little more tricky, but it's we have all these various ministries in the church. So we have this ministry booklet. What are ministries in the church that you can get involved in to help bring about God's kingdom, to build up the church. And then it may not even be something necessarily at the church. We do some work with Our Daily Bread here in Payne County.
Exactly.
They give food away and help people to not be hungry. So that's not a Catholic organization. That's not specifically related to. It's not an arm of the church. But if you're giving your talents to maybe serving on their board or helping, you are giving of your talent to help those in need. So that kind of takes maybe it's musical, maybe you're a lector at Mass, an altar server. There's all kinds of things. And I think you guys do a good job of that. You have, seems like you have all these kind of committees and councils and lots of ways for students to get involved. Altar servers, sacristans.
With a student leadership council, and then we have a student
pro-life
student
club,
development council,
pro-life,
Cowboys for Life. Got these little groups that are around that are always doing something to share the gospel.
Music for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have a lot of beautiful.
We have a lot of good voices.
And then people help organize food and organize your RCIA, and there's a whole world. Anyway, so time is what's your prayer life. Talent is these kind of ministries. How are you going to be involved in the life of the parish? And that really varies, So we have a lot of moms and dads with young kids, single moms and dads with young kids. The expectation that you somehow have all this time It's not. Like, you're in a phase of life, and so that's important to look at. What kind of phase of life am I in? But you still have talents to bring to the table. Maybe that's organizing kind of other parents of kids your age. Maybe that's what you're able to give. Retired people tend to have a little more time, but maybe not as much energy. But then we also, one of the things we do with our stewardship renewal every year is the phrase we use is we want every member of every family. So it's not just mom and dad, but the kids too. What prayer commitments will the kids make? What talents do the kids have? We have a little, like, he's a fourth grader now. He sings at our Spanish mass every week.
What?
And he's in fourth grade, and he's been doing it since first grade. And like, he's got a great voice.
Wow, that's beautiful.
And so it's not a matter of, I'm only, this gets biblical with Jeremiah,
I'm too young.
I'm only 20. I can't do anything. I'm only 5. I'm only, we say, heck with that. You've got talents to bring. And so how are you going to put those at the feet of the Lord? How can I repay the Lord for his goodness to me? Psalm 116.
Okay, so are you going to have an event where it's got, like, St. Francis has got talent, and you have to bring them out there, and everybody's going to, like, compete?
So usually we
who's
have
in charge?
a ministry fair. So this was last weekend would have been, come to the parish hall, all of the various ministries of the parish each have a booth, and you sort of walk through it. COVID has kind of messed with that. And so this year we did a virtual ministry fair where we had, not everybody did it, but almost every ministry recorded like a little 90-second video.
Oh, nice.
And we put those up on our YouTube, and we sent those out. And so people could, like, just watch. And it would be like the ministry leader saying, hey, I'm Father Robert Duck, and I'm in charge of the altar servers. And here's, or I'm, whatever that may be. And so we're hoping that people will watch those and find some ministry that they might plug into.
And they're going to be filling out their form this weekend,
and then
they can see those things.
And then you fill one out. Yeah, you say, I want to be a part of this ministry. Then that ministry then contacts you and gets you connected. Oh yeah. So then time, talent, and then treasure. And so that's the part. A lot of times people get all hung up on the treasure part. That's the only thing that we care about, and it's not. It's third for a reason. It is important, right? We got to keep the lights on. We got to help the poor. And so money is important. And the way that we encourage people to give of their treasure is to move towards the biblical tithe of 10%. Now, can every family do that sort of immediately? Maybe not, but we want people to move in that direction. And then our encouragement is to divide that up. So you're going to give away 10% of your income, pre-tax income.
Okay.
5% to the parish.
5% to St. John.
1% to the Diocese of Tulsa.
Okay.
For the operations of the church, the local church, and then 4% to other worthy charities, and that may be Catholic charities, that may be St. John's, that may be,
Our Daily Bread.
OSU, that may be Our Daily Bread. Whatever that may be.
What percentage of people in the parish typically tithe 10%?
Growing every year. I don't know. That would actually be an interesting stat. I mean, certainly not everybody.
I've always heard that stat thrown out that, like, 3% do tithe 10%, and they take care of the
I'd have to look.
Somewhere in the low single digits are the people that.
I mean, certainly not. It's not the majority. But again, that's something we want to move people towards. But people have been, I mean, every year have been giving more, but also we've been doing more. I mean, if you look at the life of the parish, the opportunities are numerous, and if we had more, if our budget was bigger, there's even more that we could do. I mean, so there's positions that we haven't filled. I would love to get kind of like a full-time communications director who could really help do a lot of the communicating that kind of falls now on Lauren Lacey, who's part-time, or falls on me, who, we were talking about kind of the essential parts of the life of a priest. There's a lot of those things that I'm doing just because I'm the one in the office like who knows how to do it. And then we'd be able to help more. We have a debt. We still owe $1.2 million on our building. And so, we want to knock that out. So anyway, that's where that treasure is going. We actually did usually at Mass on a Sunday during September, we have our finance council chair get up and like share a sort of a state of the parish finances. But since a lot of people still aren't coming to Mass, we did that online as well. So you can go back and watch Cade Crawford talking for
the state of the
just
parish.
a little 5 minute. But then again, that's good stewardship of like not only do we just give us your money, but we want to report back like how that money is being spent, and that we're using it well, and that we're using it for the good of the kingdom. And I think that helps people to kind of trust more, to be able to maybe up their giving to help continue to grow.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't
church.
hear what the parish does or what the priests do, or or the needs of the parish to make this mission run really well. Most people probably haven't stepped foot in Old St. Francis into the Catholic Charities.
Right.
So they don't know what goes on there in the ministry that takes place, or how we do certain things to do youth ministry, and all of that costs.
Yeah, and it takes
money.
people to do that. And we want to, we really want to be at a place where we're like paying our people, a just wage. We're not underpaying them. They're able to support their families. And anyway, all that costs money. And we have a big building, and a big building.
Old St. Francis was how many square feet?
I don't know.
Church and offices, maybe 12,000.
Yeah, maybe
12,000. Your current building is
42,500.
42,500
square feet.
When
it's
you
an
got
acre under roof.
Whoa! When you moved over here from Old St. Francis, how many employees did you bring?
I think over there were 5.
And now you have
10.
So you doubled in size.
Yeah.
And you also doubled in size your parishioners because you stole mine. That's actually the point I was getting to.
They ran away from you.
They ran.
Yeah.
Yeah. As the parish at St. Francis grew, so did the need for people. So did the need for volunteers.
Yeah.
Finances. Also, just on that list of time and talent, I saw it on an occasion doing. When I was living at Christ the King, they had a list of people that just did intercessory prayer.
Yeah, and that's actually something we're starting up because we have so many people who are staying home or who are homebound. It's called the Intercessors of St. Francis Xavier.
Whoa.
And that's what they do. We send them
prayer
intentions, and then they get on it. So that's time. In that case, they're from a talent perspective.
In a time.
But they have time. Somebody who's homebound, they have time on their hands that maybe somebody else doesn't. And that's how they're going to use it. It's beautiful. Stinking awesome. So anyway, that's our stewardship renewal. If you have questions about that, holler at me. But this applies in a formal sense to the people at St. Francis Xavier, and in an informal sense to the students of St. John's, or wherever you are in your own parish. Time, talent, treasure. How can I repay the Lord for his goodness to me? We're
going to do a big move on this after we get our new building built.
Oh, really?
Because we had kind of delayed, and then finally said, this is May 7th is our demolition date. And so next year we're going to, when we get the new building, when they get the new church built, that's 2020.
Get the students on
August 2022.
Yeah.
We're going to do a stewardship, very similar to what you're doing here.
Really?
To get students to start thinking about these things like, I need to pray. I need to participate in my church. Because then when you build a new church, you found like all those things that were needed, like tour guides.
Oh, our ambassadors.
And
that's not as common, but you're going to need that when you open.
Yes.
Buckle up. Yeah. So it'll be like probably that first year, you're going to need a lot of that. And then after that, it'll kind of die down and nobody will care about you anymore.
What?
I'm just kidding.
Oh, please.
Okay. We're the Pastors of Pain. We thank you for listening. Keep spreading the word. Send this to your friends, especially if you know a student who's at Oklahoma State University. Send them this because if you go back on our past episodes, we've covered a lot of ground.
Indeed,
we did a show on atheism, a show on gossip,
the Eucharist,
multiple episodes, different saints that we really like,
why we're holy priests,
the life of priests.
Lots of good stuff out there to listen to. So just hit share and grab a URL and zing it off to your amigos.
That doesn't take a lot of time.
It takes no time
or treasure.
But
anyway,
we're out of time.
Most of the time, I just want you to be grateful. Be grateful for all that the Lord has given you. And we'll talk to you next week, and we hope you have a good one.
Peace.